brings us to our action agenda. And before we start on our action agenda, I have a statement to read on behalf of the board. We actually had 3 items. Under item 3, there were 3 A, B, and a C items. On behalf of the board, I'm going to address what is our item 3A. As a board, we always try to resolve disputes in a responsible and economic fashion. We've made every effort to resolve this dispute in that way. Last year, we made a very reasonable proposal to resolve this dispute, which would have ended the matter asking that the other party only not file frivolous lawsuits against School District 5. That was rejected. We have continued to try and negotiate a good faith settlement and have instructed our counsel to continue to do so until a trial commences. It's read on behalf of our board. Thank you. So at this time, I'll entertain any other motions from our items in the executive session. I have a motion. Ms. Hutchinson.
I move that we approve selected employment items as shown in Exhibit A.
We have a second. Mr. Cade, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Passes unanimously. That concludes our action agenda. It brings us to item number 14, the discussion agenda, which is our fiscal year 20 capital update and fiscal year 21 proposed 5-year capital budget plan, shown in Exhibit D. Mr. Cannon, you look like you're ready.
Sir, Chairman Gam, members of the board, Dr. Melton, and executive staff. Let me first say this is my first opportunity to stand in front of you as your Director of Facility Operations, and I wouldn't do justice. I'm a District 5 alumni. I'm a son and a grandson and a lifetime District 5 educator, and as early as I could walk, I used to run the halls at Chapin High School and teach your in-service studies, so it's probably karma that I'm standing in front of you tonight. But it's an honor, and I'm humbled to be in front of you.
And before you go any further, we're excited about you being here. I think most of us, all of us, have told you that.
Yes, sir.
And we look forward to working with you, through Dr. Melton, on many great projects that I'm sure you're going to touch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The first item I want to bring to you tonight would be the capital project update. This would be for the current fiscal year 1920. What I'd like to do, I've got some slides, and I know y'all probably got an update this summer, so some of these will be duplicated, but there's some other things that have been finished since that time. I'd like to go through the kind of elementary to middle school. I'll pause for questions, and then I'll proceed with the high school. So I'll try to get through this, and again, we'll stop in a minute for any questions. So try to organize this beginning with elementary schools. As you see here, projects that have gone on at Irmo Elementary this year. We've done a playground, sidewalk installation. We've had various painting done at Irmo. At Seven Oaks Elementary, we just recently installed a security fence, which you can see in the top right picture of this slide to match the fence that's at the remaining portions of the school. We've also done miscellaneous painting at Seven Oaks. I think y'all had a board meeting there in the fall, so you've got to appreciate the multi-purpose and some of the optics painting that was done there. At G. Corley, we've done a concrete project there to handle some canopy erosion. The lower right-hand picture, you'll see a retaining wall that I would say was done by our district staff. It looks very nice. We've also recently installed a fence in the past month at the rear loop. Safety upgrades there. Proceeding on to River Springs Elementary, we had a pretty large concrete project there. The lower left-hand picture is the bus loop plaza. We replaced most of that concrete, and I'll have to give props to our very own Steve Kane and our district staff, and Gary Chudd, the facility supervisor at River Springs, who provided landscape services for us, and they did a really nice job if y'all have not seen it. Also, district staff replaced all the exterior bollard lights as part of this project. At Chapin, Valentine, and Egg Point Elementary, we had concrete replacement work done in all three of those schools. The lower right-hand corner was a pretty extensive job at Chapin Elementary to repair a sanitary sewer main. And in doing that, we repaired the courtyard complete that is kind of off the gym cafeteria area. Moving on to our intermediate schools, at Chapin Intermediate, we had some kitchen improvements with a dishwasher replacement. And then we also replaced the ceiling in the kitchen as part of that. Crossroads Intermediate, you'll notice all the handicap ramps, exterior, did not meet codes, and brought those up to code. Moving on to our middle schools, at Chapin Middle, we just recently, over winter break, as you go into the front door, there was kind of a bare area to the left. This is just outside this top right picture is just outside the office in Ms. Miller's her window there. That was previously a bare area, so we infilled that with concrete over winter break. At Irmo Middle School, we had probably our most extensive concrete work there. A lot of old concrete that had been damaged due to rock salt, and so put down over the years. We redid the pavement on the far south drive, which is, if you're standing at Westcott Road facing the school, the far left drive in that parking and wood area. There was also a bathroom renovation done there with a tile replacement and some painting in the middle. Dutch Fork Middle School was one of our larger jobs. The lower activity building, we had an HVAC, ceiling, and lighting replacement job that was completed this summer as part of Thompson Turner's scope. The new front loop asphalt pavement was redone in front of the school. And in the lower left-hand picture, you'll see a curtain replacement that was done at Dutch Fork. This time I'll pause for any questions that y'all may have as far as elementary, intermediate, middle school scope, things that have gone ongoing.
Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Cannon, I'll go back to my question for the safety items that you seemed ready to answer.
Yes, sir.
The $2,778,000, is there that much money left from the report that we had so that we can use that?
I can tell you there's plenty of needs. Yes, sir.
All right.
One of our biggest projects that y'all notice being implemented across the district, which I don't have covered here tonight, but the security entry, that is being implemented this year. The badge pass and things of that nature. That's one of our biggest needs within the district to improve access to our schools. So that is going district-wide. We've just started, Seven Oaks is the only school that's been implemented, and we're working down the list from there.
Ms. Hammond,
I know you have a nice picture of the security fence at Seven Oaks,
Yes, ma'am.
but that's one of my concerns about, that's our school that has all like the little tunnels.
Yes, ma'am.
You're familiar with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that fence, I saw that picture, but is that fence more around, does it somehow guard people from being able to come in to that little, it almost looks like tunnels if you have to have been there to know what I'm talking about. Or is that fence more around, it looked like it was where there was grass and maybe where the subdivision is. I just couldn't tell where that fence is.
So this particular fence would be over at the kitchen, if you pull into the school right off St. Andrews.
Kind of where McDonald's is.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, yeah.
So-
Yeah, because,
Yeah, that's where that is located.
because I know, I've talked with teachers there and principal, that one school is really close to that main St. Andrews Street. And there's a lot of traffic there, and I'm glad to know that it kind of covers where some of those businesses are right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Am I causing this interference?
Not 100% sure.
I hear a little buzzy. Sorry.
It's telling us it's late, we should be quiet.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna let you proceed on.
Okay, all right, let's, looking at high schools, Chapin High School, kind of the top middle, you'll see we did some ticket booth awnings down in our athletic ticket gate entries this summer. Some ongoing projects that have been, since I've been at the district, we painted all the athletic light poles, top right corner, which that was quite a feat, getting all the way to the top of those. The gravel parking, lower right-hand corner, that was regraded and some stone added over winter break. And we painted the track here before track season had started. Spring Hill High School, we had some concrete replacement work done there. We had to finish the sidewalk out along Broad River Road, and in fact, a little bit of disconnect there that was not done. So we finished that. We improved the parking lot paving, which you'll see in the lower left corner. That was done outside the athletic classroom area to provide more staff parking. In the bottom right area, you'll see improvements to crop stop that was done over at the Cade Center. Our district staff actually added that covered porch for the crop stop in the ag area. In the top right photo is a crosswalk. The student parking lot did not really have a great way to access the Cade Center from the students that park there, so we added this raised crosswalk and sidewalk to give them some connectivity and safe travel past that traffic. Moving to Dutch Fork High School, we did the first phase of the roof replacement. In the top right picture, you will see a really white roof, and that is our new roof that was done this summer. So kind of the main corridor, middle of the school, the theater, and the gymnasium roof was recovered. The lower left corner, the classroom wing, the wing that almost forms like the shape of a knee, the windows were replaced within those classrooms. And then finally, the bus drive, which would be the drive accessing the football stadium and in front of the football stadium, that was replaced this summer. Other projects at Dutch Fork High included painting of the football stadium, the tennis courts were resurfaced, and the track was also recently repainted before the track had started. Finally, Irmo High School, of course, we had the West Wing HVAC replacement, the first phase of that project, and as part of that, ceiling and LED lights were implemented in part of that facility. We recently completed practice field fencing this is over behind the bus lot to secure those practice fields. Painting was done throughout Irmo High School this summer. You'll see we provided new band uniforms. We do that on a regular rotational basis, so that was done this summer. And then recently here over winter break, we had concrete replacement done back behind the high school. As most of y'all know, the training room renovation and art room renovation projects were done. I think many of you attended those during homecoming weekend. They had open house there, and those nothing but positive feedback from the staff and Dr. Hardy over those renovations. And then one of the biggest things, I don't have a picture tonight, but one of the biggest things that students enjoyed was the cafeteria furniture. We provided all new cafeteria furniture within Irmo, and that was a really big hit for students. Finally, coming up on kind of the last few pieces of the summer projects, the softball fields recently, I'd say it's about 99% done. We had a sound system installed last week, so we've got some training to do on that with staff. But it's ready to go. We've got an irrigation clock, which is one outstanding thing. We've got all new bullpens, and I will say we've got all new bullpens across the district. Really, Dutch Fork and Chapin, softball, baseball. So the best bullpens around. I've done a lot of athletic facilities, so I encourage you to check those out. They're really nice. Coaches are really happy. And then finally, the last item we've got finished is the track replacement. The track in the bottom left corner is the condition you'll find it today. It is ready to go. We are waiting on about 10 dry days to get the surface on this track. As y'all know, we hope to do that in December, but weather has not cooperated. So we've got a few more weeks that we need to get this done. We're actually meeting tomorrow to kind of go over the schedule and plan for that. Some other contingency items here that you'll see that I haven't included on slides. Chapin and Irmo both received some band instruments. You'll see band uniforms. That is a Clay Cannon duplicate mistake, so I apologize for that. Irmo Middle School got a scoreboard in their gym recently installed. And again, we've got painting district-wide that have gone out to various places over different schools. And then new water heaters were done at Harbison West this summer and recently at Irmo High over winter break. This time, I'll open it up to any questions you guys may have on high schools.
I'm just curious on that first high school you said it's quite a feat to paint those like holes. I'm just curious, how do you do that?
I really thought that.
The answer.
There, yeah.
Really cold.
It must be real tough.
Yes, it is. It is.
Mr. Lewis.
I have a couple of questions for you. What is the crop stop?
The crop stop, and y'all forgive me, Mr. Richard, you want to tackle that?
the crop stock kitchen is something we paid for with a grant, our student nutrition office paid for with a grant. And what that is basically a kitchen where the students at Cape Center actually grow the vegetables. They brought it to the crop stock kitchen and flash frozen, and we serve them in our schools.
Okay. And the second question is, what did, at Adjournment High School, the athletic training room, not the room that's an art room, what did just the training room cost? And then afterward, we need one at Chapin High School. That was old. And it's, the equipment in there is bad.
I think the total project for that is the number I've seen was about 1.1 million. So what I could do, I could find out that number, ask Thompson Turner to break out the training room costs, just so we can get a ballpark. But I would assume 2/3 somewhere of that in that neighborhood. As you know, with any renovation, different systems generate different. So
Yeah, I mean, in a different building, it's gonna be different. I just was wondering, rough dollar amount, so we can talk about that.
yes, sir. All right, moving on, I guess we'll get our next part 2 of the capital. What we'd like to bring for you today is a capital budget proposal, and this would be for fiscal year 2021. Just to kind of cover the capital plan process. I know many of you have been on the board, but I think it's a good reminder. It's obviously a good reminder to me being new to this process, but this is a 5-year plan that you will see, and it's designed to ensure the district maintains fiscal schools while addressing other needs. Established priorities include roof replacement, HVAC replacement, technology, and various vehicle replacements across the district. 5-year plan is based upon the projected funds available, which has been historically around $10 million at the current millage rate. Approximately 70% of these funds are allocated to physical improvements, 30% are allocated to technology needs. Although this is a 5-year plan, we are asking you only to look at fiscal year 2021. The 4 years beyond that are really more placeholders, things we know we have on our target list, and so that we can prioritize for future years. An updated plan, this 5-year plan, will be presented to you annually. I think you've all got your spreadsheet in front of you, and something I did a little different from maybe previous years. You'll see this budget. I've got all the schools in the district listed. You're going to see schools that don't have a number allocated to them, and that doesn't mean things aren't happening at this school. What this 5-year plan shows are big ticket items. Our roof replacements, our HVAC, so really our big rocks that we know we need to tackle with this $10 million money. This would be page 2 of your plan. Now, why you've got that budget in front of you. So what we are proposing for this fiscal year 2021, Harbison West and Nursery Road Elementary Schools, we're looking at HVAC system replacement of the classrooms and the kitchen areas. The HVAC systems there are $19.99 original installation. We're looking at replacing ceiling tile and grid in our common areas, meaning our hallways, our media center, our cafeteria, our gym. We originally looked at doing classrooms. However, the classroom lighting in those schools, after we looked at them, it is more than adequate. So we felt like that wasn't a high need at this time. The media centers at both of these schools, they're very similar construction, have recessed areas right now. I mean, they have a stepped down little nook, so to speak. Talking to staff at these schools, we were proposing to fill these in, put them all on one level as the rest of the media center, and the staff feels like that would give them more useful space within their media center. Both schools will also get kitchen replacements. And then finally, in Harbison West, we do not have ADA access to Performers Paradise, which is the auditorium there. This school has a direct need for ADA access, as any school would. And so that's something we wanted to add to this year's budget to get that in. Irmo Middle School, seventh grade building R. So if you're standing at Westcott Road, building R would be the far building on your right. We're proposing a roof replacement there. That roof is a 1994 installation, so it's 25 years old, and we have a history of leaks in the building. We're also proposing to replace the exterior canopies and the lighting associated with those. There are 3 exterior canopies on this campus. I'm sure y'all are probably most familiar with the one that crosses the pond that leads to the gymnasium. So that one and the 2 up front next to the cafeteria, we're looking at totally redoing those and the lighting for that. 2 projects that we're looking at continuing from the previous years are the remaining Irmo High West Wing, replacing what's left of the HVAC system and the ceiling and lighting in that West Wing. Also at Irmo High, we're going to replace the boiler and the chiller water piping. And then finally, at Dutchbrook High School, the remaining roof replacement. So the areas that are essentially in this lower left picture, not in white, will get replaced this summer. And finally, other items that we have on our list as contingency funds are available. We've got high school tennis courts that need to be resurfaced. We're looking at repairing and or replacing our elementary school fall surfaces. All of those fall surfaces are in poor condition, so we want to get those upgraded. We've always got paving, concrete repairs we can do. Furniture replacement. So as Mr. Richardson and I have been meeting with principals, one of the big needs we're hearing is furniture replacement. Kids these days, they're larger than they used to be, so the desk and chairs that are all one unit aren't necessarily serving our needs anymore. We've heard a lot of, we want individual chairs, individual tables that we can move around, things of that nature. So we've heard a big need for furniture, really almost across the board from all our principals. Lighting upgrades, we can do lighting upgrades, I think, I'm blue in the face. We've got many areas that need to be better lit. That's going back to our safety and security. We just feel like we have a lot of areas that we can certainly improve there. And then finally, painting, carpet replacement, typical maintenance items that you would expect. Any questions?
Mr. Gant, last fall I was invited by the Irmo High School SIC to attend their meeting, and one of the things that they mentioned to me is that they were very appreciative of the upgrades to the restrooms. I think they were in the West Wing, and very appreciative, talked about how nice it is. But then they expressed a lot of concern about the restrooms in the main building, and gave some examples that I don't care to share with you. And I do think that they would consider it part of the health and wellness of students. So my question is, whether or not we can ask the administration to review where that timing will be. Right now it's scheduled for fiscal year 21-22, and that would mean another 2.5 years with the bathrooms. And as we all know, Irmo High School is the oldest high school, and we have not improved those bathrooms. And Ms. Hammond, I know you talked about it too. So I would ask how we might, request that be considered. I don't, certainly would not make it a directive, because these are the experts that know, but I feel like it's incumbent of me to share what the SIC and all those people around the table mentioned.
Ms. Hudson, I certainly can't answer that, but since we're in discussion phase, I know our superintendent's going to be having meetings about this, but that's certainly something we've all heard and seen in our high school. So I just ask our superintendent and staff, you all will continue to look at these priorities and years and see if there's any way to move that up to the ladder portion.
Mr. Gant, if I may celebrate the work of Mr. Cannon and his staff, they have walked every building with principals and facility supervisors, so they have to be so well acquainted with our facilities already to give us people such confidence and awareness of what's going on in our schools. That's the kind of conversation that I would ask him to follow directly with Dr. Hardy and our facility supervisor. And of course, what Mr. Richardson, now that we've had the approval tonight of the recommendation, we'll be able to accelerate some things that we can plan to do, so now we can start moving
Mr. Cannon, I think Bryson Tucker did it, but I saw a lighting study done a few years ago that said it's a 36% return on investment for LED lighting versus what we have here, you know, what are these T8s or something like that? But anyway, district-wide, do you have any guess at how far along in the process of replacing older type lighting, the fluorescents and so forth that we are?
I wouldn't have that data standing in front of you tonight, but I can certainly get it for you.
I mean, that, you know, that is a tremendous savings in our power bills and all.
Sure.
And I think, you know, I know that everybody's pulling at you for priorities, but if we're gonna quit paying Dominion or Mid Carolina, that puts money in there, helps Mr. Richardson along the way.
Sure, absolutely.
Other questions? Mr. Cannon, great report. Appreciate you being before us. Anything else you want to share with us? Got discussion now on our proposed 2021 school year calendar.
Ms. Garner just called me, so I've got to recover here, Mr. Ben. Our Exhibit E is being led by Ms. Goggins. She and her team have worked to make sure that we've allowed our annual inclusive opportunities, but also done things a little bit differently this year to make sure that this calendar before you today is truly one that has been recommended by a variety of advisories and key stakeholders. Ms. Goggins.
Thank you, Dr. Melton, Mr. Gant, members of the board. Each fall, the school district begins the process of creating the school year calendar for the next year using input from various stakeholder groups that include our principals, parents, and staff. The version that you have before you today includes that input, and I will quickly mention a few of the highlights of the calendar that the groups helped us create. First, if the draft calendar is approved, the first day of school for students would be August 19th. The last day for students would be June 4th. The first day for teachers would be August 11th, and the last day would be June 7th. One of the features that our stakeholder groups wanted us to retain was fall break. It was very popular, and we've been able to do that. If the calendar is approved, that would include a teacher-student holiday on October 30th. Then schools and offices would be closed on Monday, November 2nd, and then we have Tuesday, November 3rd, which is election day. Winter break, spring break is always in our calendar. And then finally, I'll note that we've reconfigured our 3 half-days previously. That would have all been at the end of the school year. This version would include half-days before winter break, spring break, and the last day of school. We certainly want to thank our parents, staff, and school leaders who helped provide a lot of thought and care with helping us draft this calendar, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have this time.
Mr. Cates.
Dr. Melton, if by chance the State House passes legislation that returns the start date to local control, do we have the flexibility to address that, or would we be more than likely to wait till the next calendar?
We've actually had that conversation, Mr. Cates, because we are watching legislation. We as an executive staff and principals are reading things that are happening and how things are changing. So our discussion as of now, we can't predict how quickly things may change downtown, if they're going to change at all. So because our principals are trying to make sure they get professional contracts signed with any external person that may be coming in to lead professional development, scheduling and coordination of internal and external professional training that we need to do, depending on when, we're most likely to stay on track. If something were to happen quickly, that they've made a recommendation, have the approval in place to give us that change, we may make some changes, but if things move as slowly as they sometimes do, we're likely to wait a year out should they give any flexibility to local school districts.
Thank you. Questions? Ms. Hammond?
Dr. Melton, as far as testing at the end of the year, at South Carolina Ready or Pass, whatever, are we helped out any, you know how teachers always feel like the testing has to end, and we have all those days that they feel like we're just babysitting. because, you know, the testing is over in kids' minds. We're just here. And so a lot of times there's discipline problems and all, but I guess we can, I mean, that's out of our hands, correct?
Yes, ma'am, the testing, Dr. Harris and his team are involved with that. We are given very specifically when days testing has to occur. So if it's our high school advanced placement test, there is no flexibility for us for that. With SC Ready and SC Task, we're given the allocation of what days they have to occur between per window. So we really don't have any flexibility with that. And, you know, we're mindful of those end of the year events to make sure that students are engaged so that there aren't the behavioral issues that could easily occur when students get freedom they may not typically have. Dr. Harris, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that regarding testing and assessment and the calendar that you have to manage so carefully.
No, I think that's very fair. It's a very prescribed set of dates that we have to work
Yeah.
with, and so we act accordingly.
I was hoping.
Go ahead.
I just had a question about one of the dates, speaking of testing. There is a date on here proposed for teacher-student holiday that the schools and offices would be open. I guess May 3rd would be, usually generally that's like AP testing weeks, one of the 2 weeks, and having the schools closed wouldn't affect any other testing at all. The schools are still open, just the students will be there.
That's correct. So schools and offices are open, the teachers are 190, but have a holiday that day, and our students will have a holiday. And we'll let Dr. Harris to confirm that with Ms. Goggins before bringing it back to you for next time. But we felt like there's such a long haul of time between spring break and the end of the year. We think it'd be beneficial for our students and our staff to have a day where they can catch their breath before the push of May gets into a different gear. So our hope was to insert a day in May when it isn't going to be interfering with responsibilities that we need to do for testing and scheduling. But because of your concern, because of the history, we need to make sure that we confirm that that would not be a conflict with Ms. Goggins and Dr. Harris. So we can just confirm that before next time. Thank you, Ms. Berger, for that catch. I can't believe Mr. Holden and Ms. Goggins are there. Nobody called up Mr. Holden tonight because he will not sleep after the number of times he's looked over this calendar.
I don't think, from my own experience, most of the AP testing was not on campus anyway. Most of them it's off campus, so it might not be, and it might not be effective because the school is open anyway.
It depends on the school as to where testing occurs, we guess, ma'am, that, but if we're closed, we're closed.
Well, and I didn't check the dates. I don't know if that is the week of AP testing. It generally is, so that's just my question.
We will double check one more time. Thank you for that feedback.
Dr. Goldman, Ms. Hammond proposed and talked about the issue we all know exists in student compliance. Why don't we, through all of our schools and all our staff, we have some creative teachers, try to figure out a way to make our end of the year, have days or whatever piece it might be, to be a meaningful experience. And I'm sure our teachers are saying to me, I'm adding at that point. Not going any further. But I know that a lot of our teachers are frustrated with that too. So that's, if you would think that's an idea that you would mind to say, hey, let's do something, let's be a leader in this area and see how meaningful learning experience we would have these days.
Well, Mr. Gann, in defense of our teachers, they work bell to bell and day to day. So all the way as many days as they can get in. So sometimes the end of the year may look a little bit differently with field days and arts festivals and those other kinds of things. So in defense of our teachers, I hope that they would say Lexington 5 students are engaged with a variety of activities that are appropriate and motivational. But we'll definitely take this back. And one of the groups that Ms. Goggins brought this calendar before is our faculty advisory, which consists of our currently elected teachers of the year and last year teacher of the years. And they had a chance to thoughtfully look over to give us some feedback. So we'll be sure that we connect not only with principals, but also with faculty advisory to offer that feedback and just to make sure that we have the assurance that every day is counting and that we make sure that students leave the school year with feeling successfully rather than with problems and disciplinary infractions.
Mr. Gant, you have 2 daughters who are teachers in the school district. I just hope they don't take the time to look at the end of this session, because I think you will hear from those 2 daughters. I won't tell them, but they may hear about it. Just want to remind you.
agree with Ms. Hutchins. Because you see,
Anybody
Marty
else?
taking up the books, there's nothing dumb about our children. They know that basically their grades are over and in, you're just holding class. Now, you can, and teachers do innovative things. I mean, I agree with her, but
And I do realize that an AP student in high school who's had that exam, who may be a senior, is probably saved up these days, they're not even at school for a while. And that's just,
You do realize it's 10-10.
I do know.
Recorded and
I'd like for
you're
somebody
responsible for
else.
attendance, so.
We're getting
yes,
one.
sir.
I'd like for somebody else to just take their feet, raising their mouth away. I just, I do realize that. I think we could make a motion. Right,
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
I say.
second. Any discussion? See none. All in favor? Thank you all very much.